As a small business owner, I wear a lot of hats, and I'm sure other small business owners can relate. Right now, it's really just me and John, my husband, running UNS Events, a wedding planning and DJ company. A lot of people who have companies usually have a product or a service that they provide, and different people in the company work on different things to support that service or product, typically, right? But the issue with John and me, or the challenge rather, is that he offers one product, DJing or service. I offer planning. We're expertises in our own field. And on top of that, we have to do the sales, the marketing, the actual execution of the projects separately. So it's not like if it was just me, or if we were just a planning company, then John could support me in doing sales and operations, and then I could manage marketing and execution, or whatever it is. We could kind of divvy up the tasks, but that's not really how we do it, or we can do it, just because we have different services and we're experts in the different services. That's not to say we can't promote the company as one. We try to have one voice in terms of what kind of company we are. We want to be a little bit out of the box, non-traditional, super fun, really kind. Like, all those values are the same for us, but it is a little bit challenging with the type of company that we are. And on top of that, we freelance to make ends meet. We don't make enough money just with our clients, although every year it is growing. We freelance for other event companies to make sure that we can make a good living and survive in Los Angeles, which is really expensive to live in. I obviously have to spend a lot of time working on the business, wearing a ton of hats: sales, marketing, lead planner, freelance producer, etc. I'm not really of the mindset where I just want to work myself to death and make as much money as possible and burn myself out. That's not really my mindset. I still want to prioritize personal time, having fun, hanging out with John, spending time with friends, spending time with family, making space and time for things that matter, not missing people's birthdays, just like important people in my life, trying to be as present as possible. Very important to me. So I'm not really like, let's work. Maybe it's because I'm older and have a lot of experience. We also don't have kids. It might be a little bit easier in terms of timing. We have a little bit less to juggle, for sure. I want to take that time to make sure I have time for myself and for my family and my husband. And I think that's a good mindset to have for me. That works for me. I wanted to share some of the struggles that I go through on almost a daily or weekly basis, pretty regular basis. And I just want to share it, my perspective, because I can't be the only one that goes through this. If you find solace in the fact that someone else feels this way, then I've done my job. These struggles aren't like a life or death situation. They're not going to make or break my life or being a business owner, but they take up a lot of headspace. And I wanted to take up less headspace. So by putting it out there, these are things that I am working on, and trying not to dwell on so much because life is short. Healthy dinner, cauliflower we just made, ground beef, egg whites, super healthy. The first thing that I find myself struggling with is eating out or not. For the most part, John and I are pretty healthy. He's very disciplined, and I think a lot of that discipline over the years has rubbed off on me. We work out consistently. We have a pretty consistent regimen of food that we eat: lean proteins, vegetables, fruit, etc. And we really try to be good from Monday through Friday. On the weekends, we do let go a little bit, but there's those times that come up, something spontaneous, a friend's in town, or a friend wants to grab dinner, or they're in the neighborhood, or there's a family thing, or whatever it may be. And sometimes I find myself struggling. Do we go? Do I not? Do I do it? Do I want to spend money? Sometimes it's financially related. Being a business owner, cash flow isn't always consistent and we're trying to budget. And so I'm like, do I want to go to spend $200 on a meal when that wasn't planned? Like literally, sometimes I'll sit there for 20 minutes trying to decide, do we, don't we, do we, don't we? And sometimes the end of a week on Friday, we weren't gonna go out, but sometimes on the Friday, we've been really stressed out. We've worked so many hours and we just wanna go out to eat. And it's a constant struggle. It sounds a little bit silly when I'm talking about it, but it's a real struggle. And sometimes make the decision to not go because I know that the next day I'll feel better about it. And sometimes we do make the decision because we just want to enjoy life and we feel like we deserve it. Or I want to go see a certain person or whatever. This whole week, this was kind of the first week that we were really back into our health routine with food especially. And by the time Thursday rolled around, Friday rolled around, we really wanted to go out to eat and we kept talking about it, but we held steady and we didn't. And I think we both feel good about it. Today is Saturday and we are going out to dinner. I think we can really pat ourselves on the back for that. And also we put on a little bit of holiday weight, or at least I did. And I'm trying to kind of lose a little bit of it because my clothes aren't fitting super properly. So that's kind of where I'm at. The second thing I struggle with is how much am I going to drink when I go out? How inebriated do I want to get? I'm no spring chicken anymore. It's not like I can go out 3 nights a week, drink as much as I want, and just spring up the next day and feel fine. That does not happen anymore. So if I'm gonna go out, it has to be worth it. Sometimes I have to think like, is this drink going to do me in? Because I really don't sleep well when I drink a lot. Hangovers, I actually drink this supplement after I drink. John and I get it from Amazon and it really, really helps with hangovers, but it doesn't mean that I sleep well. It just helps me from feeling like crap the next day, but I'm still really, really tired. Let's say I come home at midnight and I had a few drinks, pretty inebriated or buzzed or whatever it may be. We come home and then I fall asleep, and then at 4 a.m. I wake up, probably because I don't know what scientifically it is, but my body's probably sobering up, and then I'm waking up to go to the bathroom or something, and then I can't fall back asleep. And then the next day is just completely wasted. And there are some times that's fine, like I don't really have anything going on. When I'm busy and that night was a spontaneous night of going out, probably wasn't the best idea. When I know I don't want to feel like crap the next day or just don't want to be so tired, I really try just to kind of pace myself, drink a ton of water, and just make that good decision, because it will make all the difference for the next day, especially if I have work to do or I plan to film a YouTube video. A lot of times I did not film because I woke up way too tired and then I just didn't want to do anything. But you know what? I don't beat myself up for it. It's just something that I struggle with, like how much am I gonna drink? And I did want to share this because it's just something that I'm going through as I'm getting older.
그 옆에서
The last thing I struggle with is I really get paralyzed by all of the tasks that lie ahead of me. So sometimes this does keep me up at night, or I wake up in the middle of the night. I can't go back to sleep because a ton of thoughts are racing through my head. Journaling at night helps me kind of just get it out of my system. But sometimes I feel like there's just so much to do. I don't know where to start. And then I just don't want to do any of it. Like I just don't want to do it. And so sometimes I'll sit there. Like if I don't have to do something that moment, sometimes I'm like, maybe I can just watch TV. But I know that doing 30 minutes even on something and then watching TV is going to be better than not doing that. But sometimes I just don't want to do it. And I sit there for 15 minutes thinking in my head, do I go into the office? Do I just sit here and scroll my phone? I waste 15 minutes doing this and I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to get the things done, or if I'm gonna decide to watch TV, just do it. Like, just do that. I don't want to waste time with the indecision anymore, going back and forth about what I'm going to do. Just make a decision and feel fine about it. But you know, more often than not, when I finally get myself to just do the damn thing, do those 2 tasks I've been putting off for 6 months, and it takes me all of 20 minutes, I feel really silly. And I'm like, why didn't I just do it? Why was I overthinking it? Why did I think it was gonna take me hours upon hours to just put those things away or store those things? Whatever it is. I can't even think of other examples right now. But I don't wanna waste time thinking about, am I gonna do it? Am I not? Just pick something and do it. If I really think about it, it's a little bit silly that I waste a little bit of time and headspace and energy going back and forth with these struggles. But I think it's just human nature. Also, having goals that I've set for myself in terms of YouTube and the business, fitness and health, spending time with people, just all of those things that I'm trying to juggle in my head. I think it's okay to feel this way sometimes. What I have to remember is that it's not going to be perfect every time. I'm not going to be able to make a snap decision every time, but just the fact that I'm thinking about it, I think is going to really help me. I think my rule of thumb these days is to enjoy life as much as possible. Obviously gotta make a living, but also enjoying life as much as possible. Like, it doesn't have to be so hard. And just thinking about, what am I going to regret more tomorrow? Am I going to regret not seeing that friend? Am I going to regret staying out and being hungover the next day? Am I gonna regret not doing that task for 30 minutes and then being a little more stressed out tomorrow? I think just asking myself that question is going to help me arrive at the answer much more quickly in terms of what I'm going to do at that moment. And it's not always going to be the same, and that's also okay. There's seasons for everything. I am always changing and evolving. I'm always going to be in different circumstances. And so it's okay if the answer is not always the same, which is just something that I've learned. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons I put off YouTube for so long. I wanted to do it for over 2 years. I had started posting videos during the pandemic for fun, and I wish I had kept going because I would be 3-4 years in now. I didn't because I was like, oh, it's too much to do and paralyzed, and oh, do I spend 20 minutes? And instead I was just give up and just go do something else. So case in point, if you want to do something, do it. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. But at the end of the day, it's all your choice. And if you have a goal and you want to get there, you do have to do the work. So I try to remind myself of that every day too. Or am I going to regret not going out and drinking? Am I going to regret that it may be?